So is my screen visible?
Yes, yes. Can you make it full screen?
Yes, sir. Is it fine, sir?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So, good morning, everyone. Myself, Anitha Premkumar, working in Presidency University, Bangalore from India. So, I'm very glad to be a part of this conference, and I thank everyone for giving this opportunity. My topic is an applicability of blockchain model in business use case, a technical approach. So these are my outlines for the presentation today. And on these topics, I'll be talking about and I'll be sharing my knowledge with you all. And this is my objective of the paper. Let me read out the contents which are given here. The objective of a paper is based on technical approach towards application of blockchain model into various business use cases like banking sector, supply chain, healthcare, government, etc. So this is my objective of a paper. And let me start with fundamentals of blockchain. So most of you are knowing this fundamentals of blockchain. So let me go through quickly and then I'll get into the main agenda of the paper. So blockchain is nothing but it's a distributed digital ledger system wherein immutable data storage is present over there. That storage, data storage, will keep the records in secured format. So blockchain is a decentralized technology. It eliminates need of intermediaries. Thus, it provides a trust and transparency between various business parties. And it is used to transfer and permanently store the records of any assets. Let me move on to the blockchain data structure. So as you all can see this, a diagram is given here, the structure is given here. So this is nothing but the blockchain is nothing but a back linked record of blocks of transaction where the transactions are ordered in a particular fashion. The blocks are actually visualized as a vertical stack. This entire data structure, blockchain data structure is visualized as a vertical stack of blocks with the blocks layered on top of each other. That's how it is visualized, a vertical stack. Yeah, so as you can see from this diagram, the current block contains the address of the previous block and the previous block contains the address of its previous block and so on. So that's how it forms a chain like a structure. So very first block in the chain is called genius block, where it serves as a foundation for the vertical stack, foundation of all other stacks. And each block in the chain is immutable and tamper-proof, which contains the record of transaction data in an orderly fashion. All the blocks are time-stamped and stored in order of transaction fashion strictly, as I already mentioned. So let me move on to the next slide. Here what I'm trying to bring out the differences between the traditional architecture network and blockchain network, how it differs. Basically, there are 4 points which I have given here. Front end part, it is actually same as both traditional network as well as blockchain network, through which the end user interacts with the network. So that part is, there's no change in that front end part. Whatever the types of network, whether it's a blockchain based network or a normal network, the front end through which the user interacts with the network, there's no change in that. But the way the message passes from one node to other node, in traditional architecture, it is through central infrastructure, because there will be some central authority who will maintain the data and who will be a part of the network. Whereas in blockchain network, there is no central authority. It is peer-to-peer connection network. And in terms of processing, execution of transaction, like I said, traditional network architecture, there is a central authority. So every transaction goes through a central authority. He or she will verify, and then the process continues. Whereas with the blockchain network, it is decentralized. That means there is no intermediary, there is no central authority. So it is peer-to-peer, the processing takes place. And coming to the ledger, where it keeps the track of participants, balance, amount, and all. So it is a central, it's a closed one. It is decentralized and it is publicly available. So I just want to bring the differences. I want to bring it to your notice that these are the important differences between traditional network and blockchain network. Let me move on to the next slide. Here, where the actual work of my paper comes into a picture. So why business enterprise needs a blockchain solution? Why do they go for blockchain solution? There are various reasons. So I'll just read out: end-to-end data visibility and elimination of multiple intermediaries, immutable to reduce the fraud actions, transparency to increase accountability. So these are some of the important points for business enterprise to move on to a blockchain solution or to adopt a blockchain solution. Yeah. So what are the components of blockchain which will help business, the enterprise to go for blockchain solution and also get the benefit of using blockchain in business environment? So these are the components which will help us to do. Shared ledger, smart contract. So shared ledger is nothing but it's a database, digital database, smart contract, where the business rules and regulations and policies, everything is explained, consensus, agreement between various parties, peer-to-peer network, and cryptography. So these are the things, components of a blockchain, which will help business enterprise to go for a blockchain solution. Let me move on to the next slide. So this slide tells you, according to the survey 2018 conducted by Global Blockchain Survey, these are the industries they have come forward to adopt blockchain technology. So in that, the financial services are more towards the blockchain technology. Next is industrial products and manufacturing. Next, energy and utilities, healthcare, then government sectors, then retail and consumer, then environment and media. According to the survey conducted by Global Blockchain Survey to 2018. Let me move on to the next slide. So actually, I have taken 2 use cases to be analyzed in this presentation, also in my paper. First use case is blockchain in banking. So let me move on to next slide. So here is what I'm trying to show, the difference between traditional banking system and blockchain enabled banking system with the help of a diagram. So if you can see this diagram, the traditional banking system needs intermediaries. So every transaction is via intermediaries and it reaches the other end. So it is between a sender and receiver, there will be a central authority who will monitor, maintain, regulate everything. That is traditional banking system which is currently happening. Whereas if you look at a blockchain based banking system, the payee, everything is like controlled by blockchain network. There will not be central authority or middle person here, middleman. So when the person A wants to send a money to person B, every information is captured by blockchain network. And finally, the payment is succeeded. So let me move on to the next slide. What are the pitfalls of current banking system suffer from? So if you look at it, high transaction fee and intermediaries are required, middleman is required. Large number of documentation needs to be maintained and slow transaction and it's completely built on trust. So these are the different pitfalls of current banking system that we are having today. So let me move on to the next slide. So using blockchain, how transaction happens or how transaction works with the help of a blockchain. So step by step it is given. So person A wants to wish to interact with the person B or to perform some transaction. So cryptographic key will be generated, will be assigned to both the parties A and B. And then the interaction is verified, broadcasted and verified by the people who are in this blockchain network. Once it is verified, the block is created and then the block is added up into the chain of blocks and the transaction is completed between person A and person B. So there is no middle person required here. So transparency is there, visibility is achieved, security is achieved here. Yeah, let me move on to the next. So benefits of blockchain in banking system. So there are many benefits of using blockchain in banking system. Some of them I have listed out here, which are very important to note. So improved security using smart contract. So smart contract is nothing but a component of a blockchain. So wherein which you are defining the business policies and rules and regulations, who has to be a part of the network and everything you will be determining about your business policies in smart contracts. So thereby you are improving the security. And then transparency is enhanced, transparency to enhance accountability. So every transaction is recorded over here and it is added into the, a block, it is converted into blocks and added into the chain of blocks. So thereby who sent money to whom, when, what is the time, how much money. So everything is recorded here. So transparency is achieved. And since it is automatic and it is faster, so transaction settlement time is low. And then intermediaries are eliminated because completely decentralized one. Transaction fee is less compared to a traditional banking system where they charge for every transaction, they charge a certain amount of transaction fee, wherein in blockchain based banking system, it is reduced much. So these are the benefits of blockchain in banking system. And let me move on to the next slide. So this is a survey kind of information, and it actually shows you that estimated bank spending on blockchain technology. So till 2019, and the amount of money spent on blockchain banking technology is clearly visible here. And the amount of money investment on banking blockchain is every year it is increasing because of the benefits of the blockchain. Yeah, it just gives us a report on banking blockchains is growing. Yeah. Next, I'm moving on to the use case 2, which is blockchain in supply chain management. Yeah. So supply chain management is a critical process wherein multiple parties are involved here. So today's supply chain management is explained with help of diagram, and also blockchain enabled to supply chain management is also explained with example of with the help of a diagram. So if you can see this today's supply chain management diagram, where multiple parties are involved here, for example, manufacturing unit, warehouse, distributor, and retailer. So they all store the data about the product into a central authority like cloud database, and then they transfer the product. It goes from one end to other end, and finally it reaches the retailer. From there it reaches the customer. So there is a central entity plays a major role here. Every information is stored over here. Whereas if you look at blockchain enabled supply chain management, there is no central entity here. Everything is managed and controlled by blockchain network. So whatever the information the manufacturer is sending, it is converted into blocks and stored, and it's added into the chain of blocks. Similarly, for other parties, their information is converted into blocks and stored in. So there is a complete elimination of central authority, and it is the complete process is visible to all of them. And data visibility is there, transparency is there, and who can enter data and who can view data. So it is under the control of blockchain. So security is, hence the security is achieved here. So it's, yeah, so I'm just with the help of diagram I've explained. Let me move on to the pitfalls of current supply chain management. Some of the difficulties with the system: lack of coordination because multiple parties are involved here, uncertainties in deliveries. So there is no guarantee that the product is delivered and quality product is delivered, and lack of data integrity and transparency, poor quality, delays in production and distribution. There will be delays, and poor demand forecast. So these are some of the problems identified with the current supply chain management. Let me move on to the representation of blockchain supply chain using blockchain. How blockchain technology can be applied to supply chain management, and how transaction takes place, how it works. It is not a end-to-end end-to-end transaction. It is between manufacturer and shipping company. So manufacturer contracts with the shipping company. Contract and payment terms are coded into blocks. So it is into a block and in the blockchain environment. and this is synchronized with blockchain network. It is verified by the peers in the blockchain network, and then it is added into the chain of blocks, and then the transaction is succeeded and payment received. Yeah. Next, move on to the advantage of using blockchain in supply chain management. There are multiple parties involved here. From every point of every party's point of view, there is an advantage going towards blockchain in supply chain management. If you take a supplier, ethical sourcing ensured. If you see from manufacturer point of view, it measures and reduce the environment impacts, complete data visibility on a single shared ledger. And regulator, smart contracts ensure quality control throughout the supply chain. Logistics, transporter, automated real-time transport updates he will get. Wholesaler, manage stock with real-time data. So from every party's point of view, there is an advantage of using blockchain in supply chain management. So retailer, certainty of product and provenance and authenticity. And also from consumer side, you can take a decision and you can verify the product. Yeah, so these are the important and major advantages of using blockchain in supply chain. So this is a survey report where the number of supply chain peers have come forward to adopt blockchain technology worldwide. So if you see this report, 35% of, actually it is rated from 1 to 5. 1 is no idea about blockchain, and yeah, little knowledge on blockchain, medium knowledge on blockchain, trying to adopt. Fifth one is already using a blockchain. So it is ranked among 1 to 5, and the survey is conducted among multiple supply chain peers, and majority, 35% of them have answered already using a blockchain and going on. So remaining percentage of people according to their ranking, it is shown here. Yeah. So let me move on to the next slide. This report or this slide indicates the implementation challenges or challenges while adopting blockchain in business. So it is also ranked between 0 to 5. And what are the difficulty while adopting blockchain in business? What are the implementation challenges that enterprise or a business environment facing? Readiness of ecosystem and need for cooperation within banks. So this is a blue color thing. So this is the one which is having more difficult, because readiness of ecosystem. And next one is this color code, integrating blockchain application with existing application. It is also another challenge, and the impact, how much it is also more it is very much important to be considered. It is having very difficult to go towards a blockchain. Next difficulty is lack of governance models among stakeholders. And next one is lack of maturity of blockchain technology, lack of clarity on regulatory requirements, data privacy and security issues. So if you look at the slide, you can understand that there are challenges, there are difficulties involved moving towards blockchain solution. So those are listed out here, and we have these are the hurdles. So we have to come across and we have to work towards and achieve this, and we have to try to adopt blockchain in business in future. Yeah. So this is just a little idea how I started with blockchain, and just a knowledge purpose. So you have, first point, you have to understand the blockchain technology. You have to know the awareness, and you have to understand the blockchain technology. Next step is analyze the use case assessment, and then you try to build a prototype, and a small prototype, and then execute, and then you move on to the consortium prototype, and then you execute, or you know, the small live ecosystem, you try to build it. So this is how you can, like, anyone can get started with blockchain. So conclusion from my side is that in bringing trust and transparency between business to business and business to customer is a critical task. And also securing the data, business data, is another goal to achieve. So on the other hand, blockchain technology will help us to come out of these challenges, because the blockchain is built based on decentralized digital ledger, which captures all the valuable data and the corresponding transactions. So blockchain helps us to come out of this problem, and it brings trust, transparency, and visibility, security between various parties in the business network. Thereby, it is a good choice for many business to adopt. These are the references that I have referred.